This is One on One with Jasper Cole, Hollywood's bad guy, and so much more. Actor, talent manager, producer, and more. Now he's sitting down with today's top newsmakers from entertainment, politics, pop culture, and beyond. This is One on One with Jasper Cole.
Woohoo! All right. Howdy, everyone, and welcome to One on One with Jasper Cole. This is your host, Mr. Jasper Cole, and I'm so excited to finally be back live on the air. A week ago today, I was laid up at Cedars-Sinai Hospital under some really good drugs. Not that I'm not on some good drugs right now as well.
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah, but I had back surgery. I had my L5 disc replaced with an artificial disc, allegedly, so they say. So it's a week ago today, and I'm sorry I missed last week's show, but I want to give a big shout out to my producer, Mr. John Williams.
Hey,
Hello,
it's
buddy.
good to have you back with us, Jasper. I'm glad you're recovering quickly.
And thanks for you and Dominic and Aida Rodriguez doing such a great job last week.
Yeah, she really did. She was quite amazing.
She was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say a big shout out to all my fans, all the listeners. They've been sending me texts and emails. I even got some flowers. And, you really find out who, it's great. You find out who people, their true character when you're sick or not feeling well. Mm-hmm. So it meant a lot to me as well. Yeah. So I want to please ask everyone to, follow us on Facebook at One on One with Jasper Cole, and Twitter is One on One J Cole. And you can go to my website, jaspercole.com, and there's all kinds of stuff on there. We have amazing sponsors that help us keep this show on the air. We want to give a shout out in particular today to three of our sponsors, Extended Stay America, Advanced Auto Parts, and also ZipRecruiter.com. So check those out. If you go onto the UBN Radio TV page, you'll see those sponsors and all the rest of our sponsors. And, please check out they always have specials and amazing gifts and all kinds of savings. So we're excited about that. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, I want to say a big shout out to our very special guest today, another fellow actor extraordinaire. And I want to apologize to him that I'm not there. It means the world to me that he came in. But everyone, please say hello to Mr. Donnell Turner. Hey, buddy.
Oh, yeah. What's happening, Jasper? Yo, man, speedy recovery, man. Speedy recovery.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I want to say, congrats to you on this new job on ABC, playing Mr. Curtis, who is you've got one of those great parts because he's a good guy, but he's not always a good guy.
That's real. That's real right there.
He he likes to get in there and mix it up a little bit, so to speak, right?
Man, just wait. Just you wait. It's getting good now.
Well, I'm so envious. I always say as an actor, I think soaps are the best training. Well, first of all, forget the training. I mean, they're just great jobs in general,
right.
to have. So when people used to talk in the old days about, oh, it's amazing training. I don't believe there's any sort of hierarchy anymore with daytime, nighttime, whatever, web series. Work is work.
Work is work.
So work is work. But I know, Mark Teschner over there, Kathleen Gotti, who's a wonderful dear friend of mine, our own Carolyn Hennessy, who has a radio show here at UBN. Mm-hmm. She's been playing, who the hell? She plays that bitchy attorney that she's been playing forever.
Oh, yeah, but she's great at what she's doing over there.
Yeah. So I know for you. Now, let's see, you started what, in November? You just
Correct.
Went on in November, so it's already been a good 4, 5, 6 months of getting your feet wet over there.
6 incredible months. A lot has happened. 4-year contract. And
Sure.
they're easing me in, but the fans are wanting a little bit more, and so do I, man. I'm loving GH.
Well, and you have this was not your first foray into daytime. You were also on Days of Our Lives
Correct.
prior to this, and was that with the amazing Marnie Sahita casting? Was she?
Yeah,
Can,
funny story. I went in for Thug #1. Okay.
I'm surprised.
Hey, it
I'm
ain't that damn
surprised
funny. Okay,
I
but
wasn't number two.
okay, so you feel me? And I read for the part. Marnie looked at me like I was crazy. I did it again. She redirected me. I did it again, and then she says, you don't look like Thug #1. And I said, I don't feel like Thug #1. And she says, well, timing is everything. So I just got a script and a request down from production, and they're looking for a doctor. They want a sexy doctor. You think you can be like a Black McSteamy? I said, well, I'm not going to say no. I'm like, yeah.
Hello.
And so we read it. We did it a few times, and she offered me the part. And that Under 5 became a guest star character, recurring, Dr. Aiden Williams. And, I was still finding my legs and cutting teeth, and I appreciate Marnie for that opportunity. And tried to bring some life to Dr. Aiden Williams. The pace was so fast, a lot faster than episodics. A lot of people don't realize that. And
They don't,
so, yeah,
right.
man,
Yeah,
soaps move
yeah.
fast. And so, I did 4 or 5 episodes over 3 years. So that's a lot of days tapping the finger, waiting for the phone to ring. And but at the same time, it let me know what it was and what it wasn't.
Exactly.
And it is fast paced, and it is not primetime slow.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know about you. I love the fast pace. I come from theater, and so, and don't get me wrong. Every time I get a job, I lick the sidewalk in gratitude. I'm always excited, but I love the hit it and quit it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I love that fast pace. I'm probably best on take 1 or 2 anyway. So after 3 or 4, it's kind of like, are they going to fire me? But
Right.
but you're right. I mean the pace. My friend who was on All My Children for many years said, basically, if you really want to do a take over again, just fall down on the ground.
Yeah.
She said, unless the camera falls and hits you in the head, they're moving on.
They're moving on. And that was one of the things when I was doing Days, I was like, you guys are essentially watching my rehearsals. And so, my mom would hit me up and say, son, you looked a little distracted on this one and on that one. So I knew when I got this opportunity again that, I got to make rehearsals count. I got to make first take count. And, ideally we would like to get 40 takes or whatever.
Right.
Some people, there's 2 schools of thought. Some people like their first and second takes. Some people want 10, 15, 20 takes. But it is good training. It's like theater on film. And so you do got to get it right. Because you never know when they're going to move on. And they rarely go more than 3 takes, man.
Well, yeah. And then also what's great is the longer someone's been in the business too, you get to a point where it's just so nice to have a pull up to a parking spot, just to go to go to the studio and have an actual job, and you become sort of like a repertoire company working with the same people also.
Yeah, man. You know what? It's good to have a steady employment in this town, bro. 4-year contract, that stability feels real good after grinding for so long. So,
well,
even if I didn't have a
exactly.
parking spot, I'm glad to have a job, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still park on the street.
You
That's
already
fine.
know. You already
But,
know.
But so let's talk about your journey. I know you started in Chicago, right? You've moved around. I know you moved around, but were you born in Chicago? Is that where it all started? And then, or you moved to Chicago?
Okay. Real in a nutshell, born in Tacoma, Washington, but never lived there. Then,
Okay.
So after Mama gave birth to me, we went back to Chicago, where I lived till I was 10. After that, we moved to Northern California, where I moved from the concrete to a dirt road in Redding, California.
Oh, wow.
Lived there
Wow.
for a minute. Yeah, it was pretty dope, though. I got a lot of cultural experiences, man. And, my brothers and I were the only blacks in school. And so never experienced really any overt racism, just curiosity, but a lot of love. Got a lot of love for
Right.
Reading. And then we moved in 8th grade to, or something like that, to Sacramento. So
Okay.
then, just kind of found my way, high school and junior college in Sacramento, went back to Washington to play semi-pro basketball, and then realized, it rains too much for me, man. I'm California through and through, man. And I came home back to pursue my dream.
Well, it's interesting because you were an athlete, and I was just for me, I was sort of I always said I was the closet thespian. Like I really wanted to act, but I was the athlete. It wasn't like cool, and the theater wing wasn't like the cool department. But I
Oh, right.
secretly would hang out but want to do that. So for me, I didn't pursue the acting till after high school. Was that similar to you? Did you sort of wait till
You
you
know,
had sort of gotten through high
saying
school?
telling
Yeah.
people you want to be an actor and you want to pursue that for a living is like telling somebody you want to be president or an astronaut. They kind of courtesy respond and they go, "Oh yeah, good luck with that." And so, but I always had art somewhere in my blood, and so I tried to make it cool, man. I was a star basketball player, but I was also a band geek. And so
I
I
gotcha.
played the trumpet, played the baritone and marching band and all that old stuff. And I tried to make that joint cool, man, and maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but I had no problem with exercising my art, man. And as far as theater, I was doing a little bit in school here and there, but yeah, everybody thought, oh, basketball is going to be his way out. He's an athlete through and through. And so I always knew basketball would lead me to acting, or at least that's what I believed. And, the good Lord had other plans with the basketball thing. I ruptured my Achilles tendon, and that was the end of hoop dreams.
Right. Well, no, you did. You forayed into to modeling as well, right? You did.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
dabbled when I was younger. Mom was a modeling instructor, and so I had dabbled with runway. And then trying to be an actor in Sacramento, there aren't many outlets. And so I would
Right.
get into some of the
Right.
schools, John Robert Powers and the Barbizons. And I actually at one point taught runway
Oh, wow.
walking. So I can teach brothers how to walk, and even some women, actually, just because I observed it so much. So, how to walk and do the whole modeling, the catwalk thing, I taught that for a little bit. And then I realized that was more of a cash grab for them, and I wasn't getting where I needed to be. And so eventually, like I saw many before me, if you want to be an actor, you can do local theater all you want, but you got to take your behind to LA and make it happen.
Yeah, it's interesting because today, especially with well, hell, I'm old. I moved, I think, to LA in '87, but today with the internet, with YouTube, with social media, with all these venues and outlets and stuff, it is fascinating how you can almost stay in podunk
Yeah.
and build up some sort of experience or following. But ultimately, I always say you need to be in New York or LA. Of course, now you can also get, it's funny. I'm from Georgia. I left Atlanta, to come here, and now, of course, Atlanta is like one of the
Hotbed.
busiest, hubs in the South right now in terms of work. But did you also go the commercial route in the beginning? Was that
It's funny. When I moved to LA, everybody says you need to do commercials as well. And I was so dead set on being an actor,
Right,
And
right.
I didn't want to model. I'm like, I got something to say. Models are just clothes hangers. And then I said, commercials, hey, I don't want to be that, you're the Dr. Pepper dude, And so everybody was like, well, there's good money in that. And I'm like, I'm not money driven, never have been. And so I wanted my soul satisfied artistically. So it was
Right.
like, forget the commercials. Well, one day I got called by a negligent agent who said, get there for this national. So I went, and that was in 2009. That was Coors Light. And I became the Coors Light dude in 2009. That was a great experience. I learned a lot, got me a lot of exposure, and put me, as they say, on the proverbial radar. And now I'm
Well,
not opposed to commercials because it's good exposure and some good money.
I call it mailbox money, because
yeah,
I
man.
just I love working one day and collecting. If you get one that runs really
Yeah.
well, you can collect for a number of years, and it's like Christmas Day. You never know. You can open it up and it's 35 cents, and it might be 35,000.
Yeah, that mailbox visit is real nice.
You just never know, right? When you get there. So I mean, this has all happened relatively quickly. It's never quickly when you're living the journey and you're going through it. You know what I mean? Because you're still a young guy.
Oh, thank you for saying that, brother.
Well,
No.
the thing about, well, look, let's keep it real. For actors, we
Yeah.
can, we can start at 55 and have a career. It's like we're character actors suddenly, women, unless you're sadly,
Correct.
Kathy Bates, it's just ridiculous. The difference in terms of,
Yeah, man. The saying, it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. And so that is almost the fact to the date for me. And not that I'm a big success, but, I'm pleased to be on this show right now with you, There's been a lot of seeds planted over the years, a lot of student, short, and independent films, a lot of stuff that people will never see, hopefully. And, a lot of falling on my face, a lot of cutting my teeth, man. And it seems like it'll be fast. I had a fortune teller tell me that one day. She told me, based on your birthday, she says, I get a vibe, man. You were born in the year of the Big Bang. She says, you've been grinding for a long time. Don't give up, because when it happens, it's going to happen fast. And that was about 7 years ago, man. I've never forgotten those words. And it seems to be that she was right on point, man. Things in the last 6 months have been really, really moving fast, and I ain't mad.
well, and I always say, if I have any regret at all looking back, I just wish I had enjoyed the journey. Sometimes as actors, we're chasing this I'm gonna make it thing, and you don't realize you're actually making it while you're doing it, and it's all part of the journey. So sometimes I look back and I thought, damn, I wish I would have just enjoyed the process a little more, because it's all part of what's making you where you are today. And let's face it, making it, well, we've all got friends who, they had a pilot last year and a big series that went for a season, and then for 4 years they didn't work. And for me, the key is it's surviving those quote down times when you're really tested. That's when you're really tested. Is when can you hang in there when suddenly you're not on the show, or you're not booking the auditions in the rooms. And a lot of people don't understand it really starts to test you as an actor, as a person. And I always say, God didn't give me that first job for it to be the only one.
That's right. Mountain highs and valley lows, man. And I've seen a lot of people come and go, and
Yes.
over the years, and as I'm sure you have. And God didn't bring us along this far for us to fall on our face. And so, I tell people, push your sleeves up, put your head down, do the work, and enjoy the process.
Yeah, and as actors too, the best thing for me, I don't know if you've hopefully been able to be on the other side of casting, but the moment you get on the other side, you realize, it's so not personal. It is so out of our control. 10 guys can come in, just kill it, just blow it out of the water. And and to any 10 of them can do the part, but there's always that one thing that another person brought, and they may not have necessarily quote been the best actor in the room that day. My key, I always say for actors, the key is when the same casting people are bringing you back repeatedly over and over again, they don't bring people back that are going to make them look bad in front of their bosses, the
Right.
producers. And so you start in LA, you start to build a rapport with casting people, because I think a lot of actors forget, casting people really are our allies. They really need us and want us to do well.
You know,
and
at
they
the sa-
pull for us, you know?
at the same time, I think casting should remember that because sometimes they create a horrible environment, and you know
Yes.
we're invited, and that's our space to create.
Right.
And so sometimes I think they need to be mindful that we're there to create and help them look good as well. And so,
You know, and you're right, and that's why I think we all have the ones that are so special that stand out because they actually go above and beyond. You know what I mean? And those are the ones that you hate to say shocked sometimes, but you know what I mean? It's almost like, oh wow, they really are, because you know, casting is a whole profession that's been sort of watered down itself. You know,
Yeah.
their power has been taken away.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have the say that they used to say. Now, what I love about like a Mark Teschner, or Marty, the people that have been at the soaps that are left, let me tell you, years ago, I took an acting class from Mark Teschner. It was an ongoing scene study, 6-week class. And to this day, it was the best class I've ever taken in my entire career. In fact, it was like we wanted him to continue, but you know, because of his casting, he couldn't.
Right.
But I still, and he comes from the theater as well, but I still feel to this day it was one of the best overall scene study classes I'd ever taken. So
yeah, Mark is a good dude. He's a actor's casting director. He
Right.
he roots for you, and this is why you go in his office and there's a credenza, covered with Emmy awards. In fact, he just won a few weeks ago. There's a reason why, and he's got such a
Right.
calming way and a gentle spirit, plus an eye for talent, and I love him.
and he's no bullshitter. You know what I mean?
No.
He just tells it like it is.
Yep.
And you know, and that's the thing. You are surrounded by such amazing veteran actors on GH. Maurice Bernard. I mean, we can just go down the list here. Tony Geary, on and on and on. But was it intimidating at all when you first started?
Yes.
With the history of the show. Yeah.
In a word,
Donnell's like, yeah.
Let me 2 words. Hell yeah. Yeah, I screen tested with Finola Hughes. I used to watch Finola when I was a kid. So to have her knock on my dressing room door, I'm already nervous. It's already like the 4th audition. They already pulled the switcheroo on us. Now I'm not in a suit reading for a district attorney. Now I'm reading for a love interest for somebody. And now no longer in a suit, I'm in a T-shirt. And then I get a knock on the door, and Finola Hughes is there saying, "Hey, do you want to rehearse?" with her lovely British accent. And I'm trying not to be starstruck, and I'm trying to keep my my jaw off the ground, and I'm trying to keep it all professional. And I'm like, well, absolutely. And then I remember I made a faux pas at that moment. I said, it's really nice to meet you. I've been watching you since I was a kid. Well, that's not the compliment that you think it is, and I meant that from the heart. But she looked at me blankly. Her expression didn't change, and she just proceeded to read the lines. And so I realized at that moment, right, I won't say that again.
Right.
And so then getting up on stage and screen testing with her was great. I just locked in, and she was wonderful, and I went for mine. And 3 weeks later, I got that call.
Wow. That was a long 3-week wait, wasn't it?
It was hell because I know from past screen tests, if you get it, usually that night. And I have my wonderful manager, Addison Witt. He told me, we're just going to be patient and wait through the weekend because it was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the week comes, middle of the week. He's like, well, I'm still going to hang on. And I'm like, man, this has been a 2-month process. I don't want to have to just close the book on this and start over. And then, I get that call 3 weeks later. And, they were like, ABC went in a different direction for that part. And I said, okay, well, thanks for putting me out of my misery. This is from
meaning not your direction.
Yeah, they went with somebody else for that particular part, and I was just like,
I always
okay.
love when they say that. It's like, yeah, not your direction,
not
but
your
go
direction.
ahead. Yeah.
And then they said, but, and I'm like, but what? And then my agent says, ABC really likes you, so they're going to create a character for you. and they're writing for you right now. Now, every actor wants to hear something like that. Like,
Wow.
the network loves you, and they're creating a character for you. And I was like, wow, they like the earrings, they like the swag, they like the whatever I was bringing to the table. So, man, I'm honored. You know, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and this is just better than my prayers. You know, you pray for one thing, and the good Lord will bless you with something more.
Well, and like I said, you're surrounded by such veterans. The current producer it's Frank, right?
Frank Valentini, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone raves about him as a producer as well, and how he treats everyone. And now, are you? Do you guys work like split shifts? I know, like at Y&R, they do sort of like a half day. They divide their day in half. People come in shifts, or are you all pretty much there on one shift?
Oh, no. There's people coming and going all day. One day my call time's 6, another day it's 3, another day it's 12, So we're coming and going. There's 40 cast members. So they just keep it moving, man. It's a factory. It's wonderful.
It's a factory.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
a very well-oiled factory.
53 years in the making, man. Yeah, they know what they're doing over there.
Now, are you allowed with your contract? Because I know a lot of times you're able to do guest spots if they are approved, or you might have so many you can do a season. Are you still able to do nighttime guest spots and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Whatever makes sense, whatever's right, and as long as it fits in and around my GH schedule, that's first priority is GH. But if we can get some of those, we go dark the stage goes dark 1 week a month, and then 3 weeks in the summer, 3 weeks around Christmas time. So there's opportunities to get it in. And as long as it makes sense and we can work around the GH schedule, yeah, there's no problems. There's no conflicts.
And have you been a part yet of these fan events? Because there are no fans like daytime fans, where they have these greet and meets and whatever big events that come together. And have you done that yet?
Well, check it out. I'm on the slate. I'm on the schedule for Chicago and Cleveland, October 8th and 9th, and then Connecticut and Boston, November 5th and 6th. I have the Donnell Turner event coming up July 29th in Glendale at the Embassy Suites. I have my own event during General Hospital Fan Club weekend. And then, I go back to Florida at the end of this month, on the 26th, for Soap Fest. So it's 4 actors from every soap opera. And we go on a cruise. It's called Boozin' and Cruising and Schmoozin'. And so we're gonna cruise and meet the fans, and they spoil us for 3 days, man. Some dolphin diving or whatever, and the itinerary is crazy. Yeah, so I'm excited. That will be my actual first fan meet and greet. But I hear they're insane, off the chain, and I can't wait, man.
Now, everyone just joined us. We're, of course, talking to the amazing Donnell Turner from General Hospital. Do you have your website? Is this on your website as well, where people can follow?
Well, I don't have a website technically yet, but I do have on my Facebook pages, on Twitter, Donnell Turner 1, and then on Instagram at Donnell Turner. So check me out, because I have them all posted. You can see those dates. You can find out where to get tickets. It's going to be large. It's going to be great, y'all. I'm going to make it fun, I promise.
It's going to be great.
Oh,
yeah, like I said, because I have friends who've been on soaps, and, I've heard about these events. And, it's interesting because you remember it wasn't that many years ago that, the industry had decided soaps were on their way out, and, they weren't going to be around anymore, and daytime talk shows were going to take over. And it's interesting. I love the fact that, one, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And two, I think we lost a couple, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
The main 4 or 5 are still there and have proven in the ratings that they're doing great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, there's
whatever
four of us.
whatever dumbass decided to, he's fired for sure. I mean,
There's four of us that made the cut. Maybe they trimmed the fat. I don't want to insult any other shows by calling them fat, but there were shows like Santa Barbara and Generations, and that have fallen by the wayside. But there's a strong core left. YNR and Bold and Beautiful, General Hospital, and Days, and. I really respect Frank Valentini, our executive producer, his vision, because, we're competing with DVR, we're competing with cable, we're competing with Netflix, okay?
Right,
And
right.
it used to be in the days you couldn't, if you wanted a little bit of drama and sexiness in the daytime, you watched just soaps. And you didn't get
Right.
a lot of blood and guts and gore and sexuality in the daytime. Well, now people can go to those premium channels or Netflix. And so now we got to turn it up a little bit on these soap operas. And so his vision with bringing in me as Curtis, I add a little bit of edge to the show, and I'm pleased. And like I said, I respect his vision.
Right. Well, and then also, on the web series side of daytime, you have these amazing shows, The Bay, Venice. They're these soap operas that are basically web series, and most of them are created by, starring in, produced by veteran soap opera stars as well, and that's proven to be a hit in a whole other genre as well. I think they're, like most I think they're done in like 15-minute increments or whatever. But it just proves that the audience is always going to be there, I think, for daytime.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a strong community, man. I'm learning that every day. And
Yes.
it also speaks to how tough the competition is out there. I mean, it's no longer, like you said, you don't have to move to LA to get on. I mean, I'm competing with, athletes, reality stars, rappers.
Especially, yes.
And so anybody with a following, and you don't have to go in the room and audition for casting directors to see what you got. Now people can go to your social media, see how many followers you have, and they'll put you on just because you have 180,000 followers. Doesn't matter if you can act or not. They know you're going to bring a certain audience to the table. And so for those of us that didn't really play the social media game before, I'm still from the old school where let's sharpen this craft here. Let's be a better actor so we can bring a better product to the program. And so that just means that we're competing with other outside forces, man. And it just changed the game up a little bit.
Yeah, and the beauty also, there's, for us as actors now, there are so many outlets. I mean, between Amazon, Netflix, USA. I mean, there are so many shows that people keep asking me, Jasper, are you watching blah blah blah? And I'm
Right.
like, what is that? I didn't even know it was on.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's such a plethora now of more opportunities for us as actors, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it never ends. And so I always say, the beauty about a soap is they can kill you because you can always come back. I mean, once
Right.
there's, you look at someone like a Shamar Moore, and I have great respect for Shamar Moore, because Shamar, who, YNR, Criminal Minds, he would graciously always come back to YNR. He would do guest spots, still does. Made a statement recently that, he's already bored with being retired, and may just come back to YNR in general, because people don't understand, actors just want to act. We just want to work.
Well,
So-
there's a credo that I heard early on. Writers write, singers sing, actors act, and agents age.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, man, this is what we do. You're not working and you want to act, man. You go act. So I ain't mad at him.
Yeah, and so in looking now at the landscape of let's talk about the whole, African American, Hispanic, the whole racial situation happening in Hollywood. Daytime for a while was still underrepresented in many ways. I think YNR probably was a little more ahead of the game. I guess they had more and more. There was criticism, basically, and I know GH had been criticized at times for not having, quote, a standard mainstay African American family,
That's
you know,
right.
let's say.
That's right.
But that's changing. You know,
Oh.
you see the landscape changing there as well. So
Yeah, I feel good to be part of the first black cornerstone family on GH, the Ashfords. And now we have the
right.
commissioner and then TJ and then myself. And it's the first black cornerstone family on GH. And it feels good, man, to be a part of that. TV Guide did a nice little write-up on myself, Anthony Montgomery, and Vanessa Antoine about how they're calling it the Empire Effect and how Empire is having an effect on even daytime TV. And so, and I'm just thankful to be, you know, caught up in that because, you know, it looks good on GH. It's a good look.
And you know what I've noticed too, which is great, is for many, many years, there was the stigma that, you know, only beautiful people could be on daytime. You had to be like, you just had to be breathtakingly, suddenly beautiful. And of course, there are, and you know, people still look great. But I am, you know, you're starting to, when you turn on daytime now, you're starting to see a cross section of real people. You know what I mean? It looks like a real town. It's not just like everybody is a Stepford model.
Right.
And you've really let yourself go, by the way. No, I'm kidding. So, fans were tweeting today about, could he give us some fitness tips? You know, what's going on here? But yeah, but no, I like to see that even in the daytime genre, it's opened up to more just good-looking, real-looking people. So
Yeah.
there's not always this stereotypical, you know, perfect person on the soap.
Right. Yeah. No, you want to reflect society as a whole. And you know, I think it would turn a lot of people off, and I think it has turned a lot of people off when they look at TV and everyone is quote unquote perfect looking. And maybe that has given a little more room for reality shows to live because are these imperfect people, quote unquote, being real or being, you know. And so, again, I love what Frank Valentini's doing, bringing in all types. And it's just a real good look for GH. And that's why we won Most Outstanding Drama at the Emmys 2 weeks ago.
Right. And is it 50 years?
53.
Is this the 50th? 53.
Yes, sir.
53.
It is the longest running drama on television, the third all time, but the other two shows don't exist. So we're the longest and counting.
Right. And do you feel that history when you're there in the halls, you know, when you're there? Because they've been at Prospect for a very long time, Prospect Studios. I mean, you know, that's been home for many, many, many years. So I'm sure you must feel that sort of history when you're actually there as well.
I do, especially when you pass, you know, Jeannie Francis in the hallways. You know, I feel the history, man, because this is the only soap opera I ever watched. And, you know, 30 years ago, I'm watching Luke and Laura. And so for me, just to be here, to see Jeannie Francis, Laura in real life, to see some of these people from my childhood, you just feel it, you know. But here's a little trivia. Here's a little trivia for you, Mr. Cole. Did you know that Prospect Studios was home of, before General Hospital, American Bandstand?
Well, you know what? I remember. I did not remember it till you just said it, but I do now remember that. You're right.
Yeah, it was Prince's first television performance too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and you've got your Grey's Anatomy cast over there as well. I like that.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I live in Silver Lake, and I always make the joke because I never, you know, every time I get a job, it's 70 miles away. It's on location. You know, it's on location. I was like, could I? I just want to be that homeless guy on GH. I think there needs to be like that one guy that just lays out in front of the club or something, and I just want to throw a line or two. Like once or twice a week.
I think that would be great. No, I'm going to talk to Frank because we need that, and that seems to be a niche of yours. I've heard, and so
yeah. Could you just put a line? You know, I'm at the age now, I don't really need to work that hard, but it would be nice to just have 1 or 2 lines about once a month would be fine
Once a
also.
month. Okay. I'll run that
Yeah.
by Frank. He's great.
Run that by. Now tell everyone, okay, so let's quickly go back over
Okay.
these events that are coming up with
Man.
the fans
Man,
so we
yeah.
can lock into that.
Okay, lock it in. We got October 8th and 9th. October 8th in Chicago, 9th in Cleveland. November 5th in Boston, the 6th in Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut. We got, I know I'm working backwards here. Let's see, the 29th of July here in Glendale. I say here, but in Glendale, California, at the Embassy Suites is the Donnell Turner event at General Hospital Fan Club Weekend. It's an annual thing, draws people from all over the country. It's a really big deal. I'm blessed to have a 2-hour spot where I get to meet my fans. It's going to be a party. There's going to be booze. There's going to be music. We're going to have raffles and auction off stuff and selfies, and it's just going to be great, man. And then Soap Fest in San Marco Island, Florida, and that is the 26th of May. And come on, let's booze, let's schmooze, and let's cruise. Let's get it in. Let's have fun.
That's going to be amazing. and before because time flies here, before we go, I guess if you had to sort of give a piece of advice to a young actor out there or a young actress, someone that's, sitting in Kalamazoo, Michigan or whatever, what would you say to them in terms of pursuing their dream right now?
Sure, man. I live to inspire, motivate, and encourage. So I would tell them, develop a thick hide. Believe in your product, man, and have unshakable faith. Roll your sleeves up, put your head down, do the work. Do the work, and what is for you will be for you. There are no guarantees. So enjoy the process. Never give up, and don't be trying to give in to nobody's shade, nobody's hate, because that'll get you nowhere. There's always going to be haters. So just do the work, and what's for you will be for you.
And tell them to remember everything they're posting on the internet right now will be coming back.
Man,
back around.
That junk will haunt you, man. Yeah, be careful before
that shit will be haunting you for years to
think
come.
twice before you push send. Yeah.
Do not drunk tweet either. That would be a good one. Well, listen, buddy, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. It's a pleasure. Much continued success with GH and with everything you have going on, and hopefully I can see you live in the studio next time.
Yeah,
and,
man. Yeah, I feel a little bit gypped, man. I wanted to see you. I wanted to look you in the face, man. No, I'm just messing with you, man. I got your back. Pun intended.
No pun intended, right? Yes.
No,
well, thank you again, buddy. Take care. Much continued success. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's been same place, same time. We'll be back next Wednesday. I do want to give a shout out to WROM, all of our listeners in Detroit. It's Detroit's #1 radio station, so they are listening as well. And Mr. John, thank you so much for everything.
Always a pleasure, Jasper. Get well.
And take care of yourself, everyone, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. Peace out.
Thanks for checking out One-on-One with Jasper Cole. Check out past episodes and get the latest as they're released. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube.